Avoid these 11 workout mistakes if you're over 40. If you still think in this decade that dedicating several hours each day at the gym is sufficient to build a muscular and well-defined physique, it's time to reconsider that approach. While exercise is absolutely vital, the reality is that numerous common behaviors we unconsciously follow in our hectic everyday routines could be undermining your progress, regardless of how many years you've been training consistently. That's exactly why today, we'll reveal 11 of these behaviors that are literally rendering your workouts pointless and throwing away your hard-earned money. Keep watching until the very end because we won't be discussing the typical habits that everyone always mentions, such as forgetting leg day or skipping the warm-up. The 8th habit is both the most widespread and the most damaging of all. Number 1. Training without a plan. Training without a clear plan represents a vital mistake because it leaves both your body and mind unprepared for structured progress. When you skip having a workout plan, your body misses the chance to follow progressive overload, which significantly reduces the likelihood of consistent muscle growth and strength gains. Scientific studies demonstrate that following a structured program can increase muscle growth by 40 to 60% compared to random training. Think of your workouts like building a house. Without blueprints, you're just randomly placing materials and hoping something good happens. But with a plan, every session builds systematically toward your goal. This occurs because without an adequate training plan, your exercises become scattered and less focused on specific adaptations. From a performance standpoint, skipping structured programming diminishes your workout's effectiveness, since your muscles typically respond better to consistent progressive challenges rather than random, unplanned sessions. Number 2. Inconsistent training schedule. Some individuals decide to exercise sporadically, either thinking occasional intense sessions might compensate for missed days, or simply because their packed schedule doesn't allow consistent training. When you train inconsistently, your body lacks the regular stimulus needed to maintain the adaptations you're working to achieve. Your muscles require consistent challenge, especially progressive overload, to develop optimally. Without this regular stimulus, you begin each workout almost from scratch with reduced strength levels, meaning your progress gets reset repeatedly from the beginning. Your body adapts to training through a process called supercompensation, where it rebuilds stronger after each session. This requires 48 to 72 hours to complete. When training sessions are too far apart, your body returns to baseline before the next stimulus, essentially erasing previous gains. While some muscle memory exists, inconsistent training can reduce strength gains by up to 50% compared to consistent schedules. Each workout becomes harder to start, every adaptation less permanent, and ultimately, you cannot build the momentum needed for significant results. Additionally, when you're inconsistent, your body may lose the neuromuscular coordination it developed, meaning that instead of building and maintaining movement patterns, you end up relearning basic techniques, undermining all your previous progress. Without regular training frequency, your body goes into deconditioning mode, losing what adaptations it gained and failing to progress meaningfully. Inconsistent training also impacts your mental focus and habit formation. With your routine constantly disrupted, it becomes difficult to maintain the motivation and discipline needed for long-term success. You might start strong after a break, but soon, you'll find yourself struggling with exercises that were previously manageable, ultimately compromising your confidence and progress. Even training 3 times a week with consistency beats 6 days on and off. Your body loves rhythm more than intensity. Number 3. Using your phone excessively between sets. In today's world, it's typical to spend extensive time on your mobile device, whether checking social media, responding to messages, or browsing during rest periods. Initially, this might appear harmless since everyone needs some distraction during rest. The issue is that excessive phone use can severely impact your workout quality and duration negatively. When you get absorbed in your phone for extended periods, your rest intervals become inconsistent and often too long, which disrupts your workout rhythm and reduces training intensity. Extended phone use triggers what fitness experts call attention residue, where part of your mental focus remains on your device rather than your training. Studies show that checking your phone between sets can increase workout duration by 25 to 40%, while simultaneously reducing training intensity and mind-muscle connection. This scattered attention directly impacts your ability to maintain proper form and push through challenging sets effectively. This distraction not only limits your ability to focus during exercises, but also extends your total gym time unnecessarily since your rest periods become unpredictable. Research has revealed people were 35% more likely to skip exercises or cut workouts short compared to those who minimized phone distractions throughout their sessions. What's particularly concerning is that excessive phone use also triggers dopamine responses that can make your actual workout feel less rewarding by comparison, reducing motivation and creating a preference for digital stimulation over the satisfaction of physical achievement. This demonstrates that regardless of your training intensity, spending rest periods absorbed in your phone diminishes your workout's benefits. The solution, therefore, involves staying present during training, keeping your phone in airplane mode, using it only for music or workout tracking, and focusing on your breathing, form, and preparation for the next set. Number 4. Poor exercise form and technique. When you consistently perform exercises with improper form and technique, your body can develop compensatory movement patterns, meaning it begins recruiting incorrect muscles and creating imbalanced stress distribution. This represents exactly the opposite outcome you desire when attempting to build muscle effectively and safely. Furthermore, poor form reduces the targeted muscle activation, leaving you unable to stimulate the intended muscles with the intensity they require. Picture yourself performing exercises incorrectly, session after session, lacking the proper muscle engagement to drive meaningful adaptation. Your body requires precise movement patterns. While some exercises allow minor form variations, consistently poor technique creates inefficiency in your strength training, blocking optimal muscle development and making it significantly harder to achieve that strong, sculpted physique you're working toward. Research indicates that proper form can increase target muscle activation by 30 to 50% compared to poor technique during the same exercise. Beyond this threshold, your body starts developing faulty movement patterns and muscle imbalances that can persist even outside the gym, affecting daily activities and athletic performance in other areas of your life. Consider your body as possessing finite neuromuscular coordination available during each exercise. If you waste it on incorrect movement patterns, insufficient coordination remains for optimal muscle recruitment, which is absolutely essential for muscle development. Number 5. Ignoring progressive overload. It's normal to hear people admit they perform the same workouts week after week, with identical weights and repetitions. After all, who wants to deal with the discomfort of constantly challenging themselves with heavier weights or more demanding variations? It seems more comfortable to stay within familiar exercise parameters, where movements feel manageable and predictable. However, what you might not understand is that by avoiding progressive overload, you're undermining not only your muscle development, but also your overall strength and performance potential. When you maintain the same training stimulus week after week, you create adaptation plateaus that can stagnate your entire physique. What does this mean exactly? Picture a construction worker who uses the same light hammer every day, instead of gradually upgrading to more powerful tools. Eventually, their building capacity plateaus completely. Similarly, avoiding progressive challenge weakens your body's growth stimulus. Your muscles serve as adaptive tissues. They require increasingly demanding stimuli to continue developing beyond their current capacity. Your muscle fibers, particularly your fast-twitch fibers, are among the most responsive to progressive challenge and produce the most significant adaptations when consistently overloaded. Several studies show dramatic improvements, sometimes doubling or tripling strength when progressive overload is used correctly, compared to static routines. This adaptation boost doesn't just help targeted muscles grow, it enhances overall training capacity throughout your entire body, making all your exercises more effective and productive. Here's another compelling reason. Did you realize that progressive overload, while challenging, represents one of the training principles that most powerfully stimulates muscle protein synthesis? By avoiding gradually increased demands, you're missing the opportunity to give your muscles the stimulus they require to grow continuously. Progressive training methods, such as increased weight, additional repetitions, or advanced exercise variations, engage multiple adaptation pathways simultaneously, creating a comprehensive growth response. This not only strengthens your target muscles, but also contributes to improvements in other aspects of your fitness and daily functional capacity. Number 6. Not controlling tempo and time under tension. Picture yourself at the gym, concentrated and moving quickly through every repetition, rushing through each movement without consideration for speed or control. You complete your set rapidly and immediately prepare for the next one, thinking that faster execution means more efficient training and quicker results. However, this approach fundamentally misses crucial muscle building opportunities. Your muscles need adequate time under tension to maximize growth stimulus, specifically the eccentric lowering and concentric lifting phases of each movement. Research indicates that optimal muscle activation occurs when you maintain controlled tempo throughout the full range of motion. Tempo just means the speed of each rep. Slowing down gives your muscles more time to work, especially during the lowering part, what we call the eccentric phase. Rushing through repetitions significantly reduces the time your muscles spend under mechanical stress, which is the primary driver of muscle growth. The reality is, when you perform repetitions too quickly without controlling tempo, it might appear like you're training efficiently because you complete more volume in less time. However, rapid execution isn't equivalent to effective muscle stimulation. In truth, what you're accomplishing is reducing the muscle-building stimulus before your muscles have received sufficient mechanical tension. This means that in your exercise sets, you won't generate as much muscle activation or create as much growth stimulus as you could if you'd controlled your repetition speed more deliberately. Proper tempo control is what enables your muscles to experience optimal time under tension and be prepared to maximize each repetition's growth potential. If you really want to build strong muscles, try lowering the weight slowly for 2 to 3 seconds, then lifting it back up in 1 to 2 seconds. This helps your muscles work harder and grow better. This tempo approach gives your muscles the opportunity to work completely under tension, allowing you to generate maximum muscle fiber recruitment in each movement. This becomes especially vital for those seeking maximum muscle growth without performance-enhancing substances. Natural trainees require more time under tension to stimulate growth, since they lack the additional recovery and protein synthesis acceleration that enhanced athletes receive. Studies comparing tempo, controlled, and rapid repetitions show that controlled movements benefit natural trainees most, with slower eccentrics lowering of 3 to 4 seconds for compound movements producing superior results, while moderate tempo works better for isolation exercises where smaller muscle groups are the primary focus. Number 7. Training through pain and ignoring warning signs. Training through actual pain rather than normal exercise discomfort might appear like a demonstration of mental toughness and dedication, but in reality, you're potentially causing serious harm to yourself. Remember, there's a crucial difference between the temporary discomfort of challenging exercise and actual pain signals that indicate tissue damage or injury risk. Pain is like your car's check engine light. Ignore it, and you're not being tough. You're heading for breakdown. First, when you ignore genuine pain signals, your movement quality typically deteriorates significantly. This dramatically increases injury severity as your muscles and joints compensate in dangerous and unstable ways. Studies demonstrate that training through pain greatly raises the probability of serious musculoskeletal injuries that can sideline you for weeks or months. Also, pushing through actual pain can overwhelm your body's natural protective mechanisms and create chronic inflammation issues. Your tissues require appropriate rest and recovery when experiencing genuine distress signals. Attempting to override these warning signs by continuing intense training can result in prolonged healing times and potentially permanent damage that could end your training journey completely. The no pain, no gain mentality not only compromises your immediate safety, but also reduces long-term training sustainability. Research shows that athletes who learn to distinguish between productive training discomfort and harmful pain signals have significantly longer, more successful training careers. When pain levels are genuinely concerning, your body starts to move in the wrong way to avoid the pain. This can make you use the wrong muscles and put stress on the wrong parts of your body. This means you're actually receiving less effective muscle stimulation despite experiencing more physical distress, making your workouts both more dangerous and less productive for building the physique you want. Another crucial point is that training through legitimate pain can negatively affect your long-term relationship with exercise and create anxiety around physical activity. If you develop chronic issues as a result, you might lose confidence in your body's capabilities and develop fear around challenging training sessions.
Number 8. Not tracking your workouts in progress. Athletes who truly reach their goals recognize that monitoring progress is equally important as the training itself. They record every workout detail, not because they're obsessive, but because they understand that measurable progress requires documented evidence. When you track your workouts, you know precisely how much weight you lifted, how many repetitions you completed, and how your performance changes over time. This is vital because consistent progress depends on objective measurement rather than subjective feelings. Strength improvements assist with motivation and goal achievement, endurance gains supply evidence of cardiovascular development, and performance metrics are essential for identifying plateaus and planning program adjustments. Without recording the exact details of your training, you're essentially guessing, uncertain whether your body is actually improving or just maintaining current fitness levels. For muscle building and strength development, you typically need progressive overload documentation to ensure continued adaptation. But without tracking, many people repeat the same weights and repetitions for months while thinking they're making progress. Now picture this scenario. You're attempting to gain muscle mass, but by not recording your workouts, you end up repeating the same exercises with identical weights week after week. As a consequence, even with consistent training, your muscles don't receive the progressive challenge they need to continue growing. Or, on the opposite side, you're aiming to improve your cardiovascular fitness, but unknowingly perform the same cardio routine at identical intensity levels, sabotaging your endurance development efforts. Now imagine looking back after 3 months and seeing clear proof of your progress. That kind of feedback fuels motivation and helps you crush plateaus. If you're serious about achieving your fitness goals, the optimal approach is to record every workout session, including exercises performed, weights used, repetitions completed, and rest periods taken. For instance, if you performed bench press last week, you should know exactly how much weight you used and for how many repetitions, allowing you to plan appropriate progression for this week's session. Regarding workout frequency, it's recommended that you track not only individual exercises, but also overall training volume and intensity patterns. The remaining aspects of your program should include recovery metrics, sleep quality, and energy levels throughout your training cycle. What many beginners don't realize is that tracking also reveals important patterns about your individual response to different training variables. Monitoring your workouts can help identify which exercises produce the best results for your body, which training splits work most effectively for your schedule, and which recovery strategies optimize your performance most successfully. Number 9. Poor gym etiquette and social behavior. It's difficult to deny how disruptive it can be when you enter the gym prepared to have a focused, productive workout, only to encounter an environment filled with inconsiderate behavior from other gym members. People hog equipment for extended periods, leave weights scattered around the floor, fail to wipe down machines after use, and create loud, distracting conversations that pull everyone away from their training focus. All of this can transform what should be an effective workout into a frustrating and socially uncomfortable experience. A respectful, well-organized gym culture where everyone can train peacefully is essential to maximize collective results and individual satisfaction. Research in social psychology shows that negative social interactions can impact workout motivation and performance by up to 20 to 25%. Poor gym etiquette, equipment hoarding, loud behavior, and disrespectful interactions create what psychologists call social stress. It makes your brain focus on problems with other people instead of paying attention to your workout, your goals, and getting better. This social tension can reduce your training enthusiasm and lead to shortened or skipped workouts, ultimately compromising your long-term progress and enjoyment of the fitness lifestyle. When you practice poor gym etiquette yourself, whether through equipment hoarding, excessive noise, or inconsiderate behavior, you contribute to a negative training environment that affects everyone's experience, including your own focus and concentration. Number 10. Comparing yourself to others constantly. Contrary to what it might appear, constantly comparing your progress to others doesn't necessarily lead to superior motivation or results. Many people begin fixating on other gym members' physiques, lifting numbers, or apparent progress, believing that this comparison will inspire them to work harder. However, when you become obsessed with measuring yourself against others, your mindset starts to struggle with negative emotions and unrealistic expectations, without sufficient focus on your personal journey. Fitness development is fundamentally a personal process of individual improvement and growth. You challenge your own previous performances, and with consistency and proper programming, you develop according to your unique genetic potential and circumstances. If you don't allow yourself adequate self-compassion and realistic expectations, your motivation can't develop properly, and you enter a cycle of discouragement where negative self-talk accumulates, confidence declines, and the progress you're hoping for becomes psychologically sabotaged. Studies show that social comparison in fitness settings can increase cortisol levels and reduce intrinsic motivation, the internal drive that sustains long-term success. This stress response peaks around 30 to 60 minutes after comparison episodes and can remain elevated for several hours in individuals prone to social comparison. However, this process requires focused attention on personal goals, realistic timelines, and individual progress metrics to function optimally. When you constantly measure yourself against others, you interrupt your own development process before it's complete. Research indicates that individuals who focus primarily on personal progress rather than social comparison typically experience 40 to 60% better long-term adherence and satisfaction with their fitness journey. Additionally, constant comparison can diminish the satisfaction you derive from your own achievements. When you attempt to match others' progress timelines, you end up unable to appreciate the improvements you are making, which means the motivation for continued effort becomes less effective. In the end, you spend more mental energy on comparison without seeing the personal growth that justifies your individual effort, wasting your precious time and emotional resources. Number 11. Not prioritizing recovery and sleep. As you challenge yourself during workouts, your body undergoes stress and microscopic muscle damage, and if you don't prioritize adequate recovery, you're jeopardizing all the progress you could be making. Even moderate sleep deprivation of just 6 hours per night instead of the recommended 7 to 9 hours can reduce your muscle protein synthesis by up to 18% and decrease your testosterone production by as much as 15%, according to sleep and exercise research. When you're sleep deprived, your body produces higher levels of cortisol and lower levels of growth hormone, reducing the hormonal environment needed for muscle repair and growth. Additionally, poor sleep impairs your nervous system recovery, leading to decreased coordination, reduced strength output, and increased injury risk during subsequent training sessions. Recovery isn't just a minor detail, it's essential fuel for your body's adaptation process following exercise. When you don't prioritize adequate recovery, your performance declines, your muscles don't receive the repair time they need, and your ability to progress and grow is severely impacted. Sleep is crucial for maintaining optimal hormone production, which is responsible for facilitating muscle repair and nervous system recovery as you adapt to training. Without sufficient recovery time, your body becomes overwhelmed, making it harder to efficiently complete the adaptation process. This leads to accumulated fatigue, reducing your strength and motivation. Additionally, inadequate recovery can cause mood disturbances and mental fatigue, compromising the quality of your training sessions and consequently the stimulus needed for continued improvement. Picture the impact. Every workout, every effort loses its maximum potential when your body is chronically under-recovered. The general recommendation is to prioritize 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep nightly, maintain consistent sleep and wake times, and include at least one complete rest day weekly from intense training. Your muscles undergo most of their repair and growth during deep sleep phases, and this recovery is essential for protein synthesis, glycogen replenishment, and nervous system restoration. When you're properly recovered, your muscles can perform more effectively and sustain that performance longer, allowing you to train with greater intensity and consistency, ultimately creating a stronger stimulus for continued adaptation and long-term success.
That's why it's absolutely essential to never neglect your recovery when pursuing fitness goals. Now, I'd love for you to leave a comment saying, "I'm committed to a strong and healthy body." It's a simple way to remind yourself and others that you're taking control of your fitness and staying focused on progress. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit subscribe for more tips to help you stay strong, stay motivated, and keep moving forward. See you in the next one.